This is the RC600, which is the incredible new loop station from Boss. I've prepared a piece of music to show you some of the features. This is not intended to be a comprehensive overview of all the facilities of the pedal, but I'm looking at a couple of bits and pieces which I think are greatly augmented from the 300 and which I use in performance and will use when I take this to a stage. There's several things that we're not looking at here, including the bounce facility, markback, various bits and pieces that Boss have included, input effects, but what we are going to focus on is the multiple assigns that we can use and also the track effects. We're going to concentrate on a piece of music called Forge, which is from my album Exolve, and we're going to keep things pretty simple in this instance. So I'm just using a stereo in and a stereo out, although there are actually multiple output options now and input options on the 600, which is it gives us a lot more possibilities than we had on the 300. To give you a quick overview for the start, we're in 15/8. We are operating at 183 BPM. Forge has some rhythmic interest or ambiguity, which I would like to bring out. And then when the solo comes in at the end, I need the piece to fully open. And this was something that I was never able to actually realise on the 300. So this is what I've been working on with the 600 to bring this to the 4. So we have a setup on the 600 which offers us 3 separate modes. Now of these 3 modes, which we can go into at another time, I'm using 2 of the modes only. And pedals 1 to 7 are set more or less as the factory suggests, as it comes from Boss. 8 and 9 on both the modes are doing slightly different things. What I will do is run through for you now what each pedal is assigned, what each pedal is going to do, and then we will play the piece of music. So this is mode 1. The first thing that's different is here we have pedal 1, which is for me record, overdub and stop. Pedal 2 is track 1 undo and track effects on track 1. Then we've got track 2 here, record, dub, track 2 stop, track 3 record, dub, track 3 stop. Pedal 7 is assigned to change the modes. Now I would strongly recommend that you keep your mode change on the same pedal, unless you're working in a particular way where perhaps your parameters are different. But for me, when I'm going through and I'm changing modes, it's much easier if I always leave mode 7 as pedal 7 as the mode change pedal. So this is very good. This one here, pedal 8 is set to undo and redo track 3 here, this one. Pedal 9 does a lot of things, so I'm going to talk to you about that when we get a little bit closer to it. Moving on to mode 2 now. This is track 4, undo, record, overdub, track 4 stop, track 5, record, overdub, track 5 stop, 6, overdub, stop. Mode again, this one's not doing anything, and this one here, pedal 9, changes the track effects bank. It's track effects bank increase is what it's set to. So those are just the 2 modes that we're using. If I wanted mode 3 as well, then I would simply hold this button down for longer, and then the capabilities of mode 3 would be open to me. And of course you can go in and you can assign, if you go into control here, then you've got your separate modes. So you've got mode 1, mode 2, mode 3, etc. There's your pedals, so you can set your functions accordingly. So there's a huge number of possibilities and capabilities here already. Forge uses different bar lengths across the various loop channels. So tracks 1 and 4 have a 1 bar cycle, tracks 2 and 5 have a 2 bar cycle, and tracks 3 and 6 have a 4 bar cycle. When we first begin, we usually have a bank of blue lights, which shows us that there's no material already in there. It's armed waiting to record. You'll notice here that track 1, we're in mode 1, track 1 is lit white. That is because I have already recorded an empty loop in there. I'm going to begin the piece with quite a high harmonic, and the reason I have an empty loop is because I find that this is a good way to get a continual note, and the crossfade of where the loop returns is less obvious. It's much better, I find, in performance to use this technique. So this is my blank loop technique. The reason I need this to be very clean is because later on in the piece I'm going to put an effect on that harmonic, which is basically like a beat slicer. So it needs to be as clean and as straight, if you like, as it possibly can be without a leap in the audio. Let's have a listen to the piece of music. Arm pedal 1 to record track 1. Arm pedal 5 to record track 3. Pedal 1 overdub on track 1, which is B's on the left. Pedal 3 record track 2, B's to the right. Overdub track 3. This is some percussion. Change mode to record track 6, which is a bass. Pedal 1, mode 2, record track 4, more percussion. Change mode back to mode 1, pedal 5, overdub track 3, more percussion. Pedal 5, overdub, this is the chorus. Pedal 8, track 3, undo, redo. Pedal 2 goes on, and this has an assign on it. Assign number 4, which is pedal 2, mode 1, and if it works, so track effects C on and off, and I will show you now what track effects C is. It's a pattern slicer on quaver, and you can see here it is assigned to track 1. So that's what I've just switched on, and that's why I needed that straight and pure harmonic, because now I've sliced into it. Pedal 8, we're going to bring the chorus back in on track 3. Pedal 5, overdub on track 3. 2, this is some D's going in, which I'm putting in just to add a little bit of colour and development. Back to mode 2. Pedal 3, we're going to record track 5. This is a solid percussion kick, if you like. Pedal 1, record track 4. This is percussion offbeats. Pedal 5, this is an overdub on track 6. This is adding a bit more bass. Mode change, back to mode 1. Pedal 9. So on pedal 9, I've assigned that pedal to do a lot of things at the same time. So let's go through them. So first of all, we go to our assigns. Now assign number 3, we've got track effects, track 1 level, slightly rising. What I have found with the 600 is that the small adjustments are a lot more noticeable than on the 300, which you'd expect because it's a higher sound quality and higher sampling rate. So anyway, we've got an adjustment of 3 here to bring the track up a bit. We have got track 5, assign 5 should I say, and that is track 3, level up, again just a little bit. Assign 6, so pedal 9 mode 1, track effects A is going on. Assign 7, track effects 4 is panned. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. Assign 8, track effects 5, pan, and that goes from right 13 to left 10. Again, I'll explain that to you in a minute. Assign 9, track effects B is on. I'll show you all the effects shortly. 10, we've got track 2, undo, redo. And that's because if you remember the Ds that I put in on track 2, I don't want them in now because the piece is now in the big chorus development, if you like, or the solo section. They cloud the issue compositionally speaking, so I want to get rid of them. Also, I don't want them to go through the effect which I'm going to put on that track. So then we've got track assign 11, which is track effects D on. I'll show you again in a minute. 12 is the level of track 4, rises fractionally, but it's enough to make a difference. It's very, very sensitive, this. I'd like it very much indeed. Let me show you the effects now. So what we've got going on here, so we've got on A, this is using bank A, on A we have a panning delay, and this went on track 4, which was those offbeats, bam, bam, bam. When we turn this one on, we've got a panned delay, as I say, and the reason that I also set and assign to pan this particular track is because I want to leave clarity. I'm thinking of live performance. I want to leave clarity in the mix for my kick drum to come through, but I still want this panning effect. So I actually want it to be moved away from the kick, but I still want the rocking backwards and forwards of those particular beats. This is a good way I have found in order to bring a bit of space and a bit of heft into a track, but this was the only thing I could do on the 300. I couldn't do anything else as well, so the piece was not possible to play for that reason. So track B, okay, so we've got a preamp here which we've assigned to track 6, so that's where all my basses are running. This is something that I will adjust, I think, once this goes through a big rig or PA somewhere. When you're working with in your studio at home or with headphones, of course, you never quite know, but you need to be able to be ready to make these adjustments according to whether you are playing in a massive concert hall or a great pub down the road. Whatever you're doing, you still need to be able to kind of work on the fly. Much of that can be done with the EQs, which there's a lot of possibilities on here as well. So we have track effects C, we know about that. That's the pattern slicer, and that's going to track 1. D, this is an interesting one, dynamics it's called, is set to track 5. That's where my kick is, and that's what I wanted to separate from the offbeats on track 4. With this dynamics, I set it to acoustic. I will be honest with you, this was a case of trial and error, but the effect is one of basically a compressor. So what it does is it just gives some extra impetus to those beats as they're going through, and this helps also to lift the piece at the end, at the solo. What I do realise in having made this video is that the solo sound that I'm using needs to be adjusted. I would like to have more delays on the control, on the foot control, on the GT100. I would like probably to raise the level of it. This might be something that I look at in the input effects. So on here we can use track effects, which is what I'm using, or you can use an input effect. If you turn that on, then the sound will be altered. The effect will appear on the sound as you are playing rather than as you've recorded the track. So this is an interesting thing to experiment with. If I can't get what I want off the GT100, I will experiment very much with this as well. Overdub on track 2. Pedal 5, overdub on track 3. Overdub, track 3. Mode 2, pedal 7. Pedal 9, track effects bank increase. So I'm moving, by turning this on, I'm moving from bank A to bank B. Now if we go into bank B, you can see we're now in bank B here. Track effects A, boss, you gave us the vinyl flick. How can I not use it to end this piece of music? I always wanted something to end this piece with. You've just solved it for me. Thank you very much. So we've got insert onto all of them. It's a bit of fun, this effect, but actually it's very useful indeed, and I like it. And boss gave it to us, so let's use it in this piece. And that is Forge. That's it.